ended up being one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me in my life.
I'm really freaking out. I think they're like trying to poison me.
As fucked up as it is all intertwined and interlocked. Like the woman who stole my couch.
Let me talk to the EMT. Mind you, we're on FaceTime, we're looking at each other. She was okay. So the EMT takes the phone.
So now I'm reading all this legal shit 24 hours a day, not sleeping, not eating, not drinking, losing weight.
So my sister grabbed the phone and was like, I don't know who this is. That's not my sister. She would never talk like this. And she hung up. But I signed. I signed the employee handbook. I signed my name on that dotted line.
They called me and they screamed at me and they told me to delete all my posts.
You serious?
It was weird, right?
Oh my God. I don't care. I do care, Danny. I do care about your psychosis.
Just to summarize, sometime around 2020, Danny Victor gets fired from her restaurant job and she claims wrongful termination and files a lawsuit. Around this same time, she pays an upholstery company to change the fabric on her $5,000 sofa, and she claims that they switched it with a lesser quality material and ultimately stole her couch. Over time, she alleges that her lawyers are working against her with the other party, that her bank, Wells Fargo, is working against her because they drained her bank account, and that her apartment complex were trying to poison her. So her mental state becomes affected due to the stress, and she admits that she hadn't been eating nor sleeping, and she had an Adderall problem. She has what appears to be an allergic reaction, so when paramedics go over to assess her, she doesn't believe that they're there to help. Her friend in California, she believes is working with the enemy. She ends up not recognizing her identical twin sister on FaceTime, and eventually, after all of that, her family gets her back home to Massachusetts.
My case is with Jams. Jams is corrupt too. It's because my lawyers fucking sucked. They were corrupt motherfuckers, and I started to have to read legal shit. And in return, they tried to kill me.
That brings us to today, where she's back home, and now she is currently suing the United States government and several judges for corruption, and also the original restaurant. In my opinion, what it seems like is that the court proceedings aren't going her way, so the web of corruption keeps growing bigger and bigger, and so now she's suing the United States government. But first, instead of going through court, it was supposed to go through arbitration, and it ended up going through arbitration, but she lost because she refused to participate. She admitted that she signed that paperwork in her onboarding, and then she later said that they forged her signature, so she thought it was corrupt and she was not going to participate, and she didn't. She ended up owing them like over $1,000. She, I guess, ignored all of that and tried to get it to go through courts, and because she dropped her lawyers because she felt like they were corrupt, she decided to represent herself, and so she was filing motions and this, that, and the third, and she wasn't doing it correctly, so they were getting rejected or stricken down, and so she ultimately decided that the judge was corrupt as well, and that she was going to sue the judge. In her lawsuit against the judge, she also lists over 15 other defendants, including her old lawyers, Delta Airlines, and the state of California. Plaintiff, who would be Danny Victor, plaintiff further states her belief that the undersigned has no power or authority to deny her request for a full court review. And the new judge says that plaintiff has presented assumptions and not facts. The alleged grounds for recusal are primarily based upon her disagreement with the decision of this court. Motion is denied. So throughout all of this, several things haven't gone her way. So, for example, arbitration, she did not want that to go through. It went through anyways. She wanted a restraining order. That was denied. She wanted the judge to be removed. That did not happen. She wanted a public defender, essentially, and that was rejected. They did grant her relief for any legal fees for filing the lawsuit, but she wanted a pro bono lawyer, but it's a civil case, so they're like, girl, no. She also tried to sue these like 11 or 12 defendants, but she didn't do it properly. You have to list out what you're suing each person for, and you can't group them all together. So basically, she keeps trying to have her way, and they're telling her, no, that's not how that works. She's telling them, well, you know what, that's bias. I want it to go to the Supreme Court because clearly this is corruption, and I don't think you guys should be presiding over my case anymore. And they're telling her, no, that's not how that works. Denied again. She's like, you're telling me no? That's corruption. Even just reading the legal shit, it's almost as if you can hear her say, like, who the fuck do you think you are telling me no? Are you crazy?
You're not supposed to do that, number one.
So from 2020 until now, 4 years later, she tried to sue the restaurant. That wasn't working out. So she tried to sue the judge. That also wasn't panning her way. So then she tried to manifest a settlement. And now, as of May 2024, she has filed a new lawsuit. So as of August 2024, she files a motion to have this lawsuit combined with the other ones before it, so this new judge can make a judgment on everything altogether. So she has stopped posting on her YouTube, but apparently she's still posting on her TikTok. And so here's a video that I found of her explaining her thoughts going into the election.
I am not voting for Kamala Harris. Not in this universe and not in this lifetime. The very last story that I studied and wrote notes in my notebook before my life turned into a true crime itself was my Cheese Richardson. Now, she was essayed, kidnapped, murdered, mummified. This was a massive cover-up. It was corruption and stinky poo-poo from beginning to end, and the prosecutor on the case was Kamala Harris. She closed it. Now then, fast forward to 2021, when I'm living in Los Angeles, I try to whistleblow on public federal corruption with judges and lawyers and law firms and the entirety of the Stanley Moss Courthouse. And Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are president. And as I'm banging on every door possible, I'm banging on theirs too. And guess what they didn't do? They didn't do a damn thing. All right? And so for me, in my mind, not only were you the DA or the prosecutor when my Cheese Richardson got murdered by the police after they sexually assaulted her and then mummified her body for an entire year, but you were also the vice president of the United States when another African-American woman that you allegedly care about is almost murdered again by Los Angeles Police Department, judges, etc. And you did absolutely nothing, my sister.
You can vote for whoever you'd like, and you can talk about it online if you'd like as well, but why bring in someone's murder case? She keeps spreading misinformation. Kamala Harris was not the prosecuting attorney on that case. She wasn't even attorney general. She was the attorney general, okay, in 2011. This case happened in 2009. First of all, you could have easily Googled that. Second of all, just because you were banging on some metaphoric door and they didn't answer, I wouldn't answer for a lunatic either. For you to be so self-centered that you would try to draw any correlation with someone's murder to your little lawsuit, that is ridiculous. You're 36 years old acting like that. You have no respect nor decency if you think it's okay to bring up the deceased in that way. And then for you to use this case to try to validate something in your mind, really what you wanted to do was just get on the internet, and you used the election and you used this person's case to do it. You just wanted to tell everyone, hey y'all, I was a victim. Look at me, I was a victim. This is my story. It has nothing to do with any of this stuff, but I'm going to make it connect. The thing is that they don't connect, and too often the things that she's saying aren't true, and she's contradicting herself a lot of times. In a previous video, I talked about some of the discrepancies.
Like, all right, 5 minutes, and then you're getting on the floor. So I just start signing shit. I'm not reading anything. Truth be told, sign, initial, sign, initial, sign, initial. Well, in that signing is an arbitration agreement.
They have forged my signatures on at least 10 different papers, including an arbitration agreement that they are binding me to. Right now, you guys, my case is with Jams. Jams is corrupt too. You get fired, or if you get written up, or there's an investigation pending against you, they have to tell you 3 to 5 days before they suspend you. And if you...
No, they can suspend you and fire you right then and there. And that doesn't even make sense, because if I'm at work and I cuss somebody out today, how are they supposed to know?
When this woman robbed my couch, she charged me over $2,000 for services. I paid her the $2,000 with my Visa Wells Fargo card. I opened a claim, okay? They credited my account. Wells Fargo has 10 days to close a claim. And they took all the money out of my account, leaving me with pennies. So I call them and I go, how did you guys give me my money, close the case, and then give this woman back money for stealing from?
From the bank website, they give a temporary credit within 10 days. They will reverse it if they side with the merchant. In a post, she said this company hacked her YouTube and they were created by Apple and AT&T. That is not true. They were created by 3 people and they sold it to Dell. She also claimed that the judge, Orozco, had no power or authority to tell her no. I don't know what she thinks judges do. That's also not true. This is her lying about winning her lawsuit. She was clearly manifesting, but some people actually believed it. So that's the end of this video. And I think that might be the last update also.